Hey everyone, okay, so today we're going to be looking at a plugin by Joey Sturgis Tones, and this is called the SOAR plugin, and it looks a little something like this. So as you can see, it's a tape delay plugin. The interface is very straightforward and simple, but the possibilities of this are actually quite expansive. You can be very creative with this plugin. So just to start with, we're going to go over the interface a little bit. We've got a manual input of the delay here, but there's also a sync to host as well. So by clicking this, it will just automatically change to the tempo of the song. You can manually override this if you want. Say, for example, if you want a halftime delay. If your song is at 150 BPM, you can drop it down to 75, have a halftime style delay. We've got mono and stereo. I generally keep this in stereo at the moment. Feedback on or off. You've got a mix, dry wet mix, which is basically the amount of effect that's going to be coming through the original audio. You've got different types of delay. You've got the speed of the tape. And this is, for me, what is the main unique selling point of this, the main interest of this plugin is the tape settings themselves. So with the original tapes, they would be new to start, but ultimately they would age over time and with a lot of use, and this would add a lot of character to the tapes. Ultimately, then the songs or the tracks, the stems that are the tape is going through. This will add the character. It also adds what we would call now like warmth. Like we get a lot from those 60s or 70s recordings that are done so much on everything done on tape. And in recent times, we've lost a lot of that warmth, and now there's definitely a strong movement towards bringing back warmth into recordings. We realize that it's lost a lot of character, a lot of heart, a lot of emotive a lot of emotion, really, by not having this warmth in there. Traditionally, I've used the modern kind of delay plugins, the usual ones that you'll find, and then adding warmth and character to them afterwards with other plugins, other tape kind of distortions, things like this. This plugin does it all. So for me, it's an absolute go-to plugin for delays now. So what I'm going to give you an example of here, we're working on a little bit of a lo-fi track here, which will sound a little bit like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is solo the drums. So on here right now, we've got the SOAR plugin going through the hi-hats. So if I just solo the hats and bypass the plugin, you've always got a bypass option up here. This is how the hats are sounding just by themselves. It's a straight hat. It's got a little bit of a latency to it. I've shifted it over just a few milliseconds just to add a laid back kind of feel. This will also affect the delay. So if I bring the delay in, you'll hear what's going on. So the delay on this is very subtle. Again, I've got it synced to the host. Not a lot of the effect actually coming through. I wanted to keep it very subtle in the background. The tape, I've set it to a below half age. The health not great. A little bit of flutter, and not a particularly long delay. So very few repeats. But it's doing exactly what I want it to do. It's adding a little bit of swing, a little bit of groove to the hi-hats, It's also adding a little bit of the character and the warmth, the kind of grittiness in there that I like. While the kick is very straight, punchy, the snare's cutting through with a bit of reverb on there as well. I've also put reverb on the hats, but the delay is what is doing most of the work here, just to add that little bit of groove in there. So it's adding a nice little sound in there, which I really like. The main thing I did with this SOAR plugin, which I found very useful, is on this synth part here. So these are playing the same thing. I've got the synth itself set slightly differently with both. And what I've done is I've hard panned one of them left and hard panned one of them right, as you can see. And then with the SOAR plugin, this is the one on the hard left. So we'll put that over there. And this is the one on the hard right. So let's just move that over there and bring this up. So what I want to point out here, which I found very useful, these plugins are working individually, one hard left, one hard right. I changed the wet dry mix a little bit between both. Both of them are set to host, both of them are single delay setting, and I've changed the speed. One is set to 15, one is set to 30. And I changed the age, health, flutter, and the repeat slightly, not too much. And what this is doing on the synth part is that it's going to add a lot of interest in the ears of the listener on the left and right. So this is the synth part. So what this is doing is, especially when you're listening through headphones, you'll be hearing this different character of the different tapes, because if you were using tape machines in the 60s and 70s, you would have had different characters from different tape machines. Not everything would have sounded exactly the same. You wouldn't have been able to copy and paste things identically like we do now. So with this SOAR plugin, it gives you not only the possibility of changing the delay, but also changing the age and health and overall character and sound of the delay itself. And that will have an effect on the synth, on especially on the vocals, and on whatever you want to put it on. This is something I found very useful on this track, especially on a lo-fi style track. Having that grittiness, and especially just that kind of it's almost become an iconic sound in old recordings that we really missed for a couple of decades when everything became very pristine. And this has really brought it back to basics. And this plugin is very straightforward, very easy to use interface. You can pick this up so quick and have a lot of fun with it. And with this area here of the plugin, you'll always create something different. And it's more than just adding in presets and stuff like this. You can really make it your own, which is very unique nowadays. And it's something that's been very interesting. So overall, with that little bit of delay on the hats and manipulating the age and delay on the synths on the far left and far right, we've ended up with a warm sounding, interesting, constantly evolving and changing sound with the synths and the hats in the background, which just keep the interest and make it very interesting to listen to. So that's it for now. I highly recommend this plugin. Very straightforward to use. anyone can use this and just dive straight in and come up with really interesting effects within this plugin. It does exactly what you need it to do, so check it out. Joey Sturgis Tones, SOAR plugin, tape delay. Go and check it out and have some fun.